Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Sparkman Homestead. My name is Krista. We are now in strawberry season, and I could not be more happy. The beginning of strawberry season to me just means summer is here. I love it, love it, love it, love it. So today's project, we are going to quickly make some strawberry jam. I've shown you guys how to make jam on quite a bit of video, so I'm gonna just kind of really quickly go over it. I'm just pretty much turning the camera on so that you guys can come along with me while I make the jam. And then I have a really exciting thing that I wanna try. So these are some strawberries. I picked these up last Monday at one of our local farms and they are screaming to get used. I just have been procrastinating because we have been eating them fresh, and I honestly did not want to make a jam with them because we've been eating them fresh. But I have a little patch in my yard. I had a bigger patch last year and then I kind of moved it because the weeds were really bad with it. So I moved it, and this year they haven't been really producing very much, but I have been actually getting enough to eat fresh. These are the ones from our garden. They're a little smaller of a berry, but they are super, super fresh to eat. So I've just been snacking on those. So I thought with the ones that I purchased from the farm, we're just gonna make a jam with it. I have a little bit of something stuck in my throat. I don't know what it is. It's giving me a little bit of a hoarse voice, so I apologize in advance for that. I'm gonna get my strawberry jam started. I am using a Pomona's pectin in my jam today. So because we're using Pomona's pectin, we can get away with using honey in this recipe. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm excited. I have never made any of my berry jams with honey, so this is gonna be the first time. I'm really excited to see how it turns out. I know the dandelion jelly that we made together that I used the honey with, that is delicious. So I'm excited to use it in this. Because we're using Pomona's pectin, you can actually use a stevia in this jam instead of the honey that we're going to be using. In the Pomona's package, it comes with a little diagram. It will give you the directions in here if you're going to do stevia or any other type of sweetener. Everything's in here, but today we're going to do honey. So the recipe says that we're going to need to have 4 cups of mashed fruit. So we're just going to use whatever we have in here. I like my strawberry jam honestly to be more of like a strawberry preserve. So I like to have the big chunky pieces of strawberry in there. There's nothing more I love than making a toast and having just really chunky strawberry jam on top of it. It's just so delicious. So we're gonna leave it pretty chunky. So I have a large stock pot here because whenever I'm making jam, it tends to spit up a lot. I really like to have a way larger pot than I actually need for the recipe, and it's just to avoid any of that splash up because it will burn you and it hurts. I also have my really long spoon that I use when I make jam. This is literally my jam making spoon because it is ginormous. It's super long, and I love it because that way I can stir and not worry about getting burnt. So I'm gonna get my apron on because, again, splash up, I don't want to be covered in strawberry jam. Now you can pre-cook your strawberries or just warm them up a little bit so that they become a little bit tender if they're not like the ripest strawberries. But we're just gonna put them in here and then mash them. I'm just trying to debate whether I want to mash them in the here and then measure them after, or mash them in like a big bowl and then measure them. We need to make sure that we do have the appropriate amount of berries in our jam in order for it to set up correctly, because you're using pectin. You want to make sure that your ratio is good. I'm just going to get a really big bowl. Move my tea out of the way here. I've yet to drink my morning tea. So I'm just gonna get a really big bowl and put the berries in here. And then what we'll do is we'll measure them as we put them into this big pot. I'm just gonna use my immersion blender to mash them up. Okay, that's good. I wanna have, again, some nice chunks in there. So now we're gonna measure 4 cups of the berries and put it in here. Okay, so there's 4 cups. So I'm probably gonna get about 5.5 cups. I'm gonna get my pectin all ready as well. So we're gonna use 1 cup of honey in this. You can use as little as half a cup with the ratio that I'm doing, but I'm gonna go the full 1 cup of honey. I'm just gonna put it into a separate bowl. All right, so we need to add the appropriate amount of pectin into this honey. So we are going to add 2 teaspoons of pectin. This is still the packet from when I made the dandelion jelly because I didn't use it all. I'm gonna actually add the rest of it because we have a little bit more fruit. I'm just gonna add the little bit of the difference of the pectin in here just to make sure that we get it to set up. And then this is that calcium water that we made in that other video. So then I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of the calcium water to this pot of fruit. Actually, I'm gonna add a little bit more because again, we have that extra amount. Okay, so we're gonna stir this pectin into the honey and get it all incorporated. I also have some 1/2 pint jars here in my water bath canner just getting hot. I have my lids in a saucepan behind here. They're also getting hot. So all I'm doing is just incorporating this pectin into the honey so that it's all mixed throughout it. So when we add it into here, there's no clumps. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this on now. Okay, that pectin stirred in, and I'm gonna stir this calcium water in here. I'm hoping that was enough pectin that we put in there. Okay, so we need to bring this up to a full rolling boil, and then once it gets to a boil, then we're gonna add our honey and pectin in there. So I was watching this show on Netflix, and it was a cooking show. Well, it's kind of a cooking show, craft show. Anyways, on that show, they made something called pickled strawberries. So I have a little bit of strawberries left over here. I have 1 pound of strawberries. I just measured it out, and we are going to attempt to make a pickled strawberry. Now, I have heard that this is delicious on salads. You could put it on like a bread with like some cream cheese. It's kind of like a charcuterie thing to make. I wouldn't necessarily put something like this on a burger because I don't think that would be too terrific, but definitely it would be delicious on a salad with some red onions and a nice raspberry vinaigrette. Delicious. So we're gonna make some pickled strawberries today. If it sounds weird, it's like, it almost like says to me, you need to try it. So this sounded so weird, but they were raving about it and they said that it was delicious. So we're gonna attempt to make that. I'm gonna wait until I'm done making this jam though, because jam is kind of a process that you can't leave unattended. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but this is now starting to boil. And because jam is such a quick, easy thing to make, you kind of have to have all your attention on it. It doesn't take very long to make. From start to finish, jam usually takes maybe about 10-15 minutes to make. I'm not including the time to water bath it, but just to make it. Oh, the other thing that I didn't mention at the beginning either was I had already hulled all of my strawberries. So I took the tops off and hulled them. One thing that I love to do with the strawberry tops, or any strawberries that aren't like, you know, the best shape, like they're maybe a little mushy, I add them to a Ziploc bag. And then once I'm done processing all of my strawberry stuff for the year, I take these and I make a simple syrup with it. I will leave the video linked up here. This simple syrup is so good. We love having it with sparkling water. It is really good also to add to like kombucha or water kefir. It's delicious. So I do not waste any part of the strawberry. I just keep it in the freezer until I'm done doing all of my strawberries for the year. So this isn't gonna make very much jam, but I just checked our pantry and I do have quite a bit of other types of jam that I really need to focus on eating. So this year, I'm not gonna do a big batch of jam. I'm just gonna do whatever this makes. I do need to go and buy another flat of strawberries though, because one thing we love, and I did a video showing you guys, is the strawberry lemonade concentrate. That is so delicious. And I don't have any strawberries in the freezer yet, so I'm probably thinking I need to go and grab at least another flat. I find that we eat through strawberries so fast because it's the first fruit of the season and we're just so excited to have something fresh again that we just tend to eat a lot of them fresh. And then I don't have a lot left over for preserving. So I need to go and get some more so that we can still continue to eat them fresh and then plus get our stuff preserved that we need to get preserved for the year. I'm just stirring this just for it to come to a full boil, and then we'll add that honey in. While that is coming to a boil, I'm just gonna gather all of my other ingredients that I need for my pickled strawberries. The recipe calls for a white balsamic vinegar. I don't have a white balsamic vinegar, and I checked our local stores here, which is Walmart, and they don't sell it at Walmart. They just have the regular stuff. So the recipe says you can actually substitute in some white wine vinegar. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm hoping it's okay. I mean, you gotta use what you gotta use. I'm not gonna go out and buy very expensive white balsamic vinegar just to try this recipe. But then I guess I'm not gonna get an accurate gauge on how good it is. I just don't feel like driving 45 minutes to go into Nashville to go and get white balsamic vinegar. Nashville traffic is no joke. It's not a huge city, but it is so full of tourists and they do not know where they're going. So it is not a very fun place to drive, especially when you just need to go in and pick up one thing from the grocery store. We got a good bubble on the strawberries, so we're gonna add that honey in now. It's already starting to stick to the bottom, so I'm just stirring it really good. It feels weird making such a small batch of jam. I normally triple my recipes. It is what it is. If I have extra strawberries at the end of the season, then I'll end up making more jam, but it's not my top priority right now. So we're gonna bring that to a full rolling boil, and then once it gets to that full boil, we're gonna let that boil for 1 to 2 minutes for this jam to thicken up. This cookbook also has some really, really good recipes in it to use that Pomona's pectin. I was actually gifted this by one of you guys, and thank you so, so much. I have circled so many recipes in here that I'm gonna try this growing season. I really, really appreciate it and so excited to get using this. But this is a really good book if you are looking at trying to make some lower sugar jams, because the Pomona's pectin does give you the ability to do that. And this is really starting to stick. You need to stay on top of it. It's starting to boil pretty good right now. Once it is boiling well, I am stirring it so it just holds its boil. It doesn't simmer down, which it's pretty much doing right now. I'm gonna set the timer for 2 minutes and then we'll let that boil. If it doesn't set super good, that's fine. We'll have a nice sauce. Okay, our 2-minute timer went off and it does seem like it's not super thick, but it's thickened up quite a bit, and I'm worried I'm gonna burn this honey. So we're gonna take it off the heat. I have my jars hot over here, so we'll get those out. Move this spoon, and we'll get these jars filled up. We're gonna fill these up to a 1/4 inch headspace. So I don't know if this jam is gonna set. You can take a cold spoon, like a spoon that you put in the freezer, and you get it cold, and then you can put it on the back of the spoon, and then if it slides off, then it's not gonna set, but if it kind of clumps up, then you'll have a jam that will set. You can do it on a cold plate as well. But you know what? This is actually looking like it might set. And again, if it doesn't, I'm not gonna be super sad because this is gonna be delicious sauce. You can definitely still use this for something good. This would be really delicious on top of some vanilla honey ice cream. Ooh, yummy. Maybe put some like little lavender sugar on top of it also. The lavender is all starting to bloom, so I'm gonna find some lavender recipes to use with it. I have a recipe for a lavender tea bread, so I think I'm gonna experiment and make that. Okay, we'll have a little bit left to put into the fridge that will not get to the 1/4 inch headspace. So we got 5 half pints. I wanna try a little bit of this. It's really good. That honey really comes through. Yummy. I'm excited. And we're just gonna come in and do a quick little debubble, make sure there's no air bubbles in it. Make sure that these tops are clean. I kind of already went over the tops and cleaned them. This is just, I'm just doing it again because I just debubbled them. And then we'll get our rings on to fingertip tight. Put them in our water bath canner. And then we will wait for those to come to a full rolling boil. Once they get to that boil, we're gonna set our timer for 10 minutes and we're gonna water bath can these for 10 minutes. After the 10 minutes, we'll take them out, let them sit for 12 to 24 hours to cool down. The strawberry jam is all done now, so I just put it over on that table. I'm gonna wait 5 minutes, and then after the 5 minutes, I'm gonna take them out of the water bath canner and leave them sit there. So the pickled strawberry recipe that we're making, it is not a canning recipe. This is a recipe that you're just gonna leave in your fridge. It's kind of like a refrigerator pickle. We're going to use 2 pint-sized jars. You can do this in a quart-sized jar if you'd like, but I just thought I would prefer to have it divided into the 2. That way I can leave one unopened while I'm getting through this one. I have a medium-sized saucepan here. We're gonna put all of our ingredients in here and we're gonna bring it to a boil. But first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our 1 pound of strawberries. And again, these are strawberries that I have cut the tops off of. I've washed them really good so they're clean, they have no debris. So we're just gonna take these strawberries and we're gonna put them into our pint-sized jars. Let's make sure I kind of have an even amount in both jars. Now we're gonna take all of our other ingredients and we're gonna put them in this saucepan. So what you need to do is take 1.5 cups of a white balsamic vinegar, but again, we don't have that, so we're gonna use that white wine vinegar. We're gonna add it to that pot. We're gonna take 2/3 cup of water, add it to the pot. Now, this recipe, I am actually using an organic cane sugar in this. I don't really want to use honey in this. I would prefer to use the sugar. It's not a huge amount of sugar. It's, what is it? Well, I mean, it's 6 tablespoons of sugar, but I just would prefer to use sugar in this instead of honey. But if you have a stevia replacement, you can definitely use that. I cannot count and talk at the same time. I will lose my count. Our timer just went off for our jar, so I want to go and take those out before we get that boiling. Here's our jam. I'm thinking that I'm probably going to get 1 jar that doesn't seal, because when I opened this lid, this jar right here had actually fallen down. So I don't know if we're going to get a seal on it or not. We'll see. Okay, let those rest for 24 hours now. On last week's video, one of you guys actually made a comment that if I was using a steam canner, it would reduce the amount of water. I 100% agree. I just don't have a steam canner, so that's why I'm using my water bath canner. Unfortunately, right now, I do not have the funds to be able to invest in a steam canner, so that's why I don't have one. So I use what I have. And that's what I have is my water bath canner. I know that a steam canner will reduce the amount of water greatly, but I just obviously don't have it. We just added the sugar. So now we need to add in 2 tablespoons of, just want to make sure I'm doing this right, because if I do this wrong, this could make this go really bad. So it says 2 tablespoons of a kosher salt. So we're going to use 2 tablespoons of this Redmond salt. I just wanted to make sure I was reading tablespoon and not teaspoon, because that is a very big difference. Okay, so let's get this on the heat, and we are gonna bring this up to a boil. It's kind of nice sometimes not doing recipes that require the canning, just like an easy freezer recipe or just a fridge recipe. The reason I don't do it is I just don't have enough freezer space or fridge space to house all of these things. Also, when you can, it does stay shelf stable, and I find that it stays fresher longer with the canning process, but again, this is not a canning recipe. I would imagine you could probably can this recipe because the vinegar is pretty high on it. Like if you can can a regular pickle, you could probably do that as well, but we're just gonna put these in the fridge. So the recipe says that it's ready to serve within 1 hour, but the pickling intensifies over several days. It says they're delicious either way, whether you eat it within an hour or after the couple of days. If appearance matters, the strawberries will start to lose their bright color after 24 hours. So if you're doing like a charcuterie board with these, you probably want them to be nice and bright and appealing looking. So I would recommend to make these maybe like the day before you're doing your event that you're having your charcuterie with. But if it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter. I know last week I said that appearance really matters to me. When I'm eating something, I like it to look good, but I really like it to taste good more than anything. We're probably not going to do the taste test today with these, but I will update you on the next week's video on how these guys tasted. So it just says over a medium heat to bring this to a boil. So I'm just going to wait for it to get to a boil. So it's at a boil. We're going to take it off the heat now, and we're going to pour this over top of our strawberries. And it is fine that it is hot. This is just so weird to me. Okay. And then we will put our lids on them. Again, we're not canning these. I'm just using some leak-proof plastic lids. We're just gonna set these aside, and it just says to let them cool and then store in the fridge. Look, already it's turning a beautiful red color. I will definitely give you guys an update on next week's video and let you know how they turned out. I probably won't be able to wait very long. Probably tomorrow I'll end up having some of these on a salad, and oh, I can't wait. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love to find new fun recipes and share them with you guys. This one looked too fun not to share, so give it a try, see if you like it. I think this is gonna be delicious on top of that salad. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you on the next video. Bye guys.